What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. I just want to say first thing, thank you to each and every one of you that have watched the last couple of videos, commented, liked them, and all the new subscribers. I truly appreciate it. I know that time is precious, and I really appreciate you spending yours watching me. So thank you. As for today, like I have been building up to since I got this car back, I'm going to be taking this thing and doing some track days with it. That was always my goal with this car from the moment I bought it 21 years ago, almost 22 years ago now. So going into that, if you watched the last video, you saw some suspension upgrades, some steering upgrades I made. Those are just the start. I have a lot of stuff I want to do, and I have, like I mentioned, some fabrication projects I want to do. Problem is, I don't have all the material for all of them. Kind of have bits and pieces for each, but I think what I want to start with today is brake ducts. So if you are into track cars or performance cars or anything of that nature, you might know about brake ducts. They've been proven to work. They are definitely effective. I don't know if I necessarily need them on this car, but I figure why not, you know. I love to push myself doing fabrication projects. I like to learn new things, and it's just something I want to do. I mean, it's beneficial. There's no way it's going to hurt me in any way. I have a little bit extra time. I might as well go for it. And the main reason is, let me take you up here and show you. This car, 96 to 98 front end. So if you have a 99 to 2000 front end, you actually have some off-the-shelf options for brake ducts. You know, you have your little fog light areas in the bumper. People already make, you know, molded plastic or carbon fiber brake ducts that you can put on there. Nobody makes anything that I've ever seen for this car that goes into a existing area. Everything is where you have to cut a hole in the front of your bumper, and you can use like NACA ducts or just, you know, kind of universal brake duct inlets. And I just don't like that look. I don't want to cut a giant hole in the front of the bumper that I can never, you know, take away. Even though this thing is not perfect, it needs repainted anyway. It's cracked a bit, but I just want something that looks a little more stealthy, I guess is the word. Not that I don't want to show them, but here's my idea. So for these cars, you can buy JDM or JDM knockoff fog lights, which go right here in this area. There's little panels there. You do have to cut the grill out a bit, but I think I can get some made that will fit right here, and I'll have a way to get past the core support and into the wheel well area to run the brake duct hose, which can be kind of large. So we're gonna get this thing jacked up, get the wheels off, get the bumper loose, and I'm gonna see if I can actually make my design work. If not, you guys will probably never see this. If it works, we're gonna do something cool. All right, guys, wheels are off. Bumper is basically all disconnected and ready to pull off. So I'm gonna try to get you guys down here and show you what I am thinking. I'm really gonna have to pull the inner fender off, I guess. Alright, hold on. Alright, inner fender peel is peeled back. So, right there, that's that fog light area I showed in the front bumper. So I'm thinking I can make a housing that fits right in there, the same shape as like the internal fog light housing would be. I'm gonna have to move the horn. The horn is right there, of course, but no big deal. But I'll do like a side outlet instead of going straight back. And that side outlet will get me right into here. And then I can route my brake duct hose up through here somehow, which will be, admittedly, probably the hardest part. I'm not really sure how I'm gonna have to do that, go up, or, you know, having this as a front wheel drive car kind of creates some challenges, but we can do it. I know people have done it in the past. So I may have to make like a like what's called like a pancake duct, which smashes it flat, still keeping the same, you know, volume, if that's the proper word I'm looking for right now, of air to go through to get around certain things like behind the coilover or whatever. I'd rather not route it close to the axle if I don't have to, but if I can get it straight up between the fork and the knuckle, I don't quite know yet. First challenge, I think, is to make that housing. So I'm going to pull the bumper off, carefully cut that area out, and start mocking up our piece with some cardboard, some good old CAD. Okay, bumper is off. Now you might better see these. So like I said, these are meant to be cut, at least on the JDM versions, for the fog light option. So I'm going to get my little pneumatic body saw out, combo of whatever I need to do, you know, die grinder, whatever, carefully cut these out, and then we'll go into making our mock-ups. Alright guys, believe it or not, that was like a pretty big deal for me. This is the original bumper to the car. I don't know why, it's just weird to cut a giant hole out of the grill that I can never take back. Whatever, this car's cut up. Here, anyway. That's how it looked. There we go, nice big hole. So now that the hole's there, I can get into making our template out of cardboard. I know I've said that like 3 times already. I'm sorry. Hi. Okay, bumper's fitted back up. Now I can see my horn is right in the way, which is no big deal. Move that. This side's a little more open, and we still have this side that's in the way, and I'll probably have to trim. I'm gonna wait till I get my main housing made before I start trimming, but that's gonna be where our side outlet goes, and I think we're gonna have plenty of room. Alright guys, so I have this GoPro chest harness thing on. Hopefully I can get the viewing right with it. Apologies if I have to readjust or if something's out of frame. I just think the tripod's getting a little boring. So I like to use cereal box cardboard. It's plentiful, you know, we just throw it in the recycling bin. It's a nice, you know, easy thickness to work with, but, you know, it's still rigid in a sense, if that makes any sense. I like to use it. I'd recommend getting yourself one of these cutting mats. Get them from Michael's or Hobby Lobby or wherever, so you don't scratch up your nice surfaces, or, you know, it actually helps keep your blades a little sharper too. You're not dulling them out, cutting out against metal or wood or whatever. And it's got some nifty grid pattern measurements and things. So take some preliminary measurements here. Let's actually just go about 5 inches roughly, and so we got about 5 inches roughly by to the tallest 4 to about 4 7/8. I think I'm going to make this roughly 3 inches deep or so. Let's go 3 1/2. I think I'm going to just make a piece about, you know, the depth I want to go, pretty long, and then just fold it over in here, and we'll tape some stuff together with painter's tape and whatnot. Let's make it a little big. Always make it bigger than you think. I'll even just go 4, just for shits and gigs. Use some cheap scissors here for now. Okay, so now we can put this in here. And what's nice, like I said, this stuff is pretty easily flexible, so we can just let it do its thing in here and kind of conform to our space. And then I'll be able to make some marks and see where I need to add or subtract. And good thing I left this long because I can slide it out to meet the top portion. Because I want it to, it's going to be an odd shape to follow the grill. So I'd like to get it somewhat in there nicely. Alright, let's go ahead and cut that right in there. Stuff's easy enough to make like a nice crease. I have a feeling this is probably not going to be correct, but I'm just going to cut it. Yeah, pretty close. What are you guys working on today? If you are working on anything, it's a Friday for me. I'm off work today. Let me know what you guys are working on. You working on your own Civic project, another Honda project, or another car? Let me know. I'd like to know. And if you have a channel, link it, and I'd like to check it out. Perfect. Look at that. Alright, and that is our rough kind of shape there. And like I said, this is just mock-up. It's probably going to have to be a little deeper to get our side outlet, because actually I'm not sure what size hose I'm going to go with yet. I'd like to go with like a 3-inch, but that's probably going to be too large to fit through our spaces. We probably need to go back in the wheel well and look behind the knuckle and see how much space we have. We might be stuck with a 2 or a 2.5, which I think will still be sufficient. Like I said, this car is not incredibly heavy. I don't think, you know, we need the absolute optimal flow characteristics here. I think whatever we do is going to be better than what we had, which was nothing. So, alright. Let's go back down, grab a light. Let's see what we got to work with in the wheel well. I don't know if this camera angle is going to work on my chest, but let's see. I feel like we're decent. So if that hose comes out right here, we're going to have to make a tight bend. I might even have to use a aluminum 90 or something, but that stuff is pretty good at not collapsing, so we figure we're gonna have to put the bumper back on. But I want to say we had at least 2.5 inches to work with. Now I don't really want to go under the control arm. This car is fairly low. I don't want to go, definitely not between the axle, because this thing is going to pivot. And although these move together, I just don't want to. That would be very tight squeeze. I just don't like that. I'd rather not be under the CV. So that really leaves us with 2 options. It is going right through here. Like I said, maybe even just squishing the tubing. I don't really want to do that. The only option is to really make like a pancake box, which just made this project a whole lot more complicated, but I kind of expected it to be a tight squeeze. I've never seen anybody do this this way, so maybe I'll look around the internet, see what I can find, but I think that's going to have to be our option. The tubing, like I said, it's sprung. It's got that, it's not sprung, it has a coiled wire in it to keep it from collapsing, and you can actually oval it and stuff, and it holds its shape pretty well. We could probably pinch it between there, although, you know, this does have some movement to it when the knuckle goes up and down. So I got to think on this. I might have to go with my idea of making that pancake duct, which I'll have to relocate this brake line and try to squeeze it back here, like maybe make the brake line go around the front. You know, not ideal, but it ain't gonna hurt anything either. or I can make that pancake duct go around, but I'd rather it not be in front of the coilover, just because that will make things much more difficult with adjusting ride height or disassembly or anything like that. I think we're going to be stuck making that pancake duct behind here, and it is what it is. You know, I mean, I could snake it right here through the CV area. We have, you know, enough for a 2-inch in there. That might be the way we go. I don't know. I'm going to toss my options around. Making 2 pancake ducts like that is a big investment. Not in cost or anything, I mean just in time. And I don't know if I want to go through all that. I don't know. We're going to have to figure this out, guys. Alright guys, so I trimmed this thing up. I think I got a nice contour to it. I made it kind of, at least it's just inset a bit, but flush with the grill. Goes into that body, I don't want to call it a body line, goes into that bumper line there, follows it up and around, and goes in right there. It's a nice shape, reminds me of the original, the way the original fog light fit in there. And then I just cut this back piece. It sits like that. That's just going to block it off, make it a box, and then the side outlet will be cut in. And I measured it, and we have up to 3 inches to work with in there while I make a flange off the side for the tube. But I don't think we're going to be able to go that big. It's going to be 2.5 max, but most likely 2, just because of our spatial constraints in the wheel well. So for today, I'm going to get this transferred to some aluminum for material. I always like to keep, I got a bunch of it laying around, but I like to keep this 080 thickness, so pretty thick stuff, 3003 H14 temper. So it's pretty stiff stuff. It's nice, it bends well. 3003 will not crack as you bend it. Of course, as all aluminum, it does work harden, but you can bend it and it won't crack like 6061 does instantly. You can form this stuff. You know, I made all this bodywork on this bike with that. So it forms very nicely, and you can anneal it. So this is the perfect stuff in my eyes for this. I have a bunch of it. That's what we're going to use. This piece might even work. Try to always orient my stuff on here to waste as little material as possible, because this stuff is pricey. Try to make your template as accurate as possible. You can always cut a little extra on your aluminum, but I try to make it as accurate as can be. There we go. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to square this off so I can make straight cuts. I can cut around this, you know, like I kind of did up here, only because I had no other option. But you know, when you're cutting out of a big sheet, sometimes you have to do that, and it does suck to waste material. But it's easier just to cut a straight line than cut a bunch of, you know, awkward lines on a big panel. It's much easier when you have this off and it's by itself. So square this up and go ahead and get to cutting. Got my big Bosch handheld metal shear here. This thing works, but it's heavy, it's difficult to use. I need to get something more suitable for the type of stuff I do. This is more for like HVAC work, I believe. It still works on this thicker stuff, but it's kind of difficult to make turns and stuff. So I have a couple options to cut this. I could use regular old snips, which will wear me out. I have a straight shear, and I have a Beverly style shear. This is not a real Beverly shear, it's a Harbor Freight one. I think they discontinued this piece, and I bought one thankfully before they did. This is actually my first time using it. I might have to adjust it, we'll see. But it's nice for making curvy cuts. You know, it cuts right out of the box. know if it's suited for this material or not. Actually, I'll use my straight shear for this cut. I use the straight one a lot just because it's nice and straight. Okay. Alright, so far it seems to be cutting really nicely right out of the box. Which is surprising. I thought I would have to adjust it for this thickness here. Not bad. I probably will have to use the hand snips for a few, you know, spots and whatnot, but not bad. There we go. And I am going to use our cardboard piece to verify that I can make an exact mirror image for the other side of the bumper. And then I can trim this up, get it nice, and make an exact second copy. There we go. Alright guys, so what you saw there was me annealing this material with a torch. Makes it a lot more flexible. See how easily I can bend that now. Just make things easier on myself. If you want to know more on that, you can watch other videos or watch some of my previous ones. I explain a little bit more in depth. But I drew this line here because according to my cardboard pattern, this upper corner is going to be a nice clean break. So I'm going to throw this in my box and pan brake here and do that. Let me just confirm with my pattern here that I'm bending the proper side. And we are going to bend this at, I believe, damn near 90. Pretty close. I think I can maybe stay a few degrees under, just in case. See how that goes. If I need to throw it back in there again, I can. Actually, let's just give it a little more. Why the heck not? I can always slightly bend it back if need be. Alright, it's pretty close to 90. Alright, now that is our upper inside corner. It's going to go right there. Now I need to start forming this, which I'm going to kind of use my paper template as a guide, so I can actually use this as my bending guide. See how easy annealing that made it bend. A little sharper up through there. To be honest guys, I don't expect this to go right first try. I might have to scrap this piece, but I'm just hoping nut. Let's see how it's looking so far. Okay guys, as projects normally go, this thing has been more work than I anticipated. What's new, right? But check that out. That puppy is in there. Fits pretty damn good. I've had to do a lot of tweaking, but I've got it nice and tight to the line. I mean, as best as I could. That corner was really tricky. So I need to weld our seam down here, and then I need to mark and actually trim this edge. It didn't go in quite as far as hoped, but that's okay. This side lines up nice. I just have to trim that after and finish the edge. But I'm pretty stoked on that. I'm gonna weld the back on too once I get this seam welded up, just so it is there. But hey, progress. Taking me a while. I'm gonna try to get this other side formed up, fitted in there same way, so I can just weld both of them in one shot. And then I don't know how much more time I'm gonna have today. This video, I'm gonna try to make it just one video, so it's gonna be multiple days probably. But once these are done, then I can start working on the actual back plate that's going to go behind the rotor. And I have a couple ideas on how I'm going to do that. Those probably will not go as planned, as nothing ever seems to, but I'm pretty stoked. It's going well, even though it's taking more time. But it's proof that I could make happen what was in my head for months now. So stoked on it. So it's funny how after you get the process down, how much easier things are. I literally made the other side. I know they look uneven just because they're not welded, but made the other side in literally like 10 freaking minutes. So don't get discouraged. Sometimes just figuring out the first, figuring it out for the first time is the hardest part. I've earned myself some lunch, I think. So eat me some pizza. Here where I live in Northwest Indiana, we have a regional pizza chain called J&J's. It's pretty good. It's like a stuffed pizza. If they make it right, it's freaking killer. So good job, guys. Time to weld these things. I got them all wire brushed, cleaned with acetone, cleaned my TIG wire with acetone, my filler rod, and I'm ready to go. My settings on the welder should be pretty good. I was welding this thickness aluminum last time I used it, so I should just be able to fire it up and go after I clean my tungsten up. So let's give it a shot. A little rusty there. I haven't welded aluminum in quite a while. Actually welded in general at all. But not too bad for not picking up the torch in over 6 months. Pretty happy with that. I'm going to also run a bead on the inside, just because you get that. So I'm going to let this one cool. I'll do the other one. Then I'll run an inside bead, and we'll go from there. I might make the back panels if I have time. Otherwise, this is it for today. Not bad for not welding in a while. Worked out pretty good. I am going to have to grind this back edge down and smooth it out so it fits in that bumper slot good, which is also another reason why I did the inside, but looks pretty good. Happy with it. Alright guys, got them both fitted in the front bumper. They are not going to stay raw aluminum, of course. They will be powder coated black to fit in with the grill. But man, I am stoked. They fit really nice all along there. Both sides. I went ahead and welded the inside of them too, so no air will penetrate in areas we don't want it to. It's just going to go right out through here And through here, through our brake duct hose, I am super happy with these. They turned out so good, better than I actually expected. So this is just one very small piece in this big puzzle that we're going to try to do here. I still have to make the new backing plates that go behind the rotor that actually put the air into the center of the rotor. And then I still have to figure out the routing of the hose and whether I'm going to do those pancake ducts like I talked about earlier. Not quite sure. Well guys, I really wanted to make this one video, but it's just not going to happen, clearly. This stuff takes a lot of time. You know, it is what it is. So it's going to be split up. Hopefully I can finish it up in the next video. I don't really want to split this into 3 parts, but you know, if that's what it takes, what it takes. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you made it this far, I truly appreciate it. I know it's a long video, and you know, it's probably longer than most people would like to sit and watch, but it's just, that's what it took. So if you did like it, please leave me a comment, tell me what you thought, what you'd like to see. And if you have not subscribed, I would really appreciate it. It would really help me out. Try to grow the channel a little bit. Plus I just enjoy doing this, so it gives me motivation to keep on going. So if you watched all the way through, I truly appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video.